Welcome to this chat today, Spiritual Chat. We are talking about what to do if you are feeling stuck and stagnant in your life, if things aren't moving and you're progressing like you want them to, you just aren't very clear on what steps to take next. We're going to talk about a couple different tips that'll help you get moving. So I'm doing a TikTok live. I always like to say that for the YouTube people because I'm sure sometimes it's like, who the heck is she talking to? So TikTok live, and so I'm talking to people in the comments. And if you have questions or comments, I would love to hear them down here below on YouTube as well. I would love to answer them. So the first one is subconscious grooves. This is when we are experiencing the same day over and over and over again. And even though there might be a little fluctuation, it's like the same experiences, same people, same conversations, blah, 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 right? That can make you feel incredibly stuck and stagnant because part of the human experience is growing and evolving. And as a society, sometimes we have this, just go to work, take care of your family, that's it. There's so many other different facets, but we don't have to get into like world programming right now. But it makes us kind of like feel like a cog in the machine, right? And we're just like in and out, same thing. So what we need to do to break this up, because your subconscious is set to, this is what we do every day. And so you are pointing your attention and energy. I get up, I brush my teeth, I put my makeup on, I go to work, I do blah, 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 blah. You got to spice things up, okay? We have to be doing things in a different way, in a different manner. And when I tell people this sometimes, they say, I can't do that. I don't have $1 million. You don't have to do that. You can literally just do teeny tiny things, because the way that quantum shifting works is we make micro shifts and then bigger shifts happen. It's kind of like the butterfly effect. So we can brush our teeth with the opposite hand. We can move furniture in our space. Like my son and I are actually about to flip-flop bedrooms because I feel the stagnation. I've been in that room for a long time and I love it, but we gotta mix it up. You can take a new route to work. You can try a new class in your town. You can watch a YouTube video about something that you have no idea about. The other day I went down this rabbit hole on YouTube about ants. Like I watched like 5 videos about ant colonies. It doesn't matter what the thing is. It's that you're bringing new energy and freshness and thriving type of energy into your life. You're bringing imagination, creativity. Now we have new ideas coming in because we've broken out of this behavioral cycle loop that we're stuck in, because your brain is just looking like, okay, well, this is just what we do every day. It doesn't have to be that way. Okay, micro shifts, doing something different every day. And that can be like a 30-day challenge for you too. Like when I've gotten in ruts like that, I'll challenge myself. We have to do at least one thing different. Maybe you try a new drink today. You never had Mountain Dew, try Mountain Dew. Okay? But it disrupts that patterning, and now your whole subconscious is thrown off in a good way. It's like, oh, what else could happen today? Right? This is not normally what we're doing. We got to bring the new energy in, and whatever that looks like for you, right? You don't have to spend $1 gajillion, or it doesn't have to take an hour. It can literally take like a minute or two, okay? So let me check the comments here. I haven't seen you in forever. Oh, hello. All right. Does anybody have any questions about that? Honestly, didn't think of it. It's so, we overcomplicate things so much. Y'all will hear me preach all day long. You can change your life in 10 minutes because I've done it, and I help other people do it. If you focus on something every day for 10 minutes, it picks up momentum, and then it becomes a bigger part of your life, and now you're that person. Like you work on your confidence 10 minutes a day, of course you're gonna get better at it, but it like radiates out into every aspect of your life. And now you're just an extremely confident person, but you start at a micro shift. So this is another example of that. We just start a little bit at a time. Past memories. If you are trying to create a new reality for yourself and you want to be a new person in a new higher self form of you, if you are constantly looking back on your past memories and focused on where you're at in reality right now, you will just get more of that. Your brain pulls from past experiences to predict your future. So that's why we get stuck in these behavioral patterns, because we like comfortability. Comfortability equals safety. Especially if a lot of us had childhood trauma. We don't like rocking the boat, and we don't like the unknown, because we'd have to safety measure of, no, everything has to be a very specific way in order for me to feel okay. But there's no growth in that. And you do not become a new person. And you do not get a new life by doing that. You have to do things radically different than what you have done in the past and what you're doing right now. Because otherwise you will just continue to be that same way or that same person. So let's say that, oh, one second. Brittany, what is the Facebook group? We don't actually have the Facebook group anymore, but you're welcome to join the Discord if you want. If you want to send me a message, I can send you the link for it. If you send me a message on Instagram, or if anybody wants to join the Discord here on YouTube, it's in the description down here. Okay, so let's say that you are having trouble paying your bills. Okay. What we have seen in the past is that we have to struggle and get all stressed and anxious about it, and just like have this big old hot mess chaos. Your brain automatically goes there because that's how you survived and that's how you've handled it in the past, but that's how it will continue to go into the future. So you have to work on your future mindset. What is somebody feeling and experiencing and doing, and how are they behaving as somebody who has the money for their bills? And this goes with anything, not just with money. If you pull from past you, that's just what you'll get more of. Or if you pull from where you're at right now, maybe you're doing better than where you were at in the past, but you're not exactly where you want to be. If you keep on doing what you're doing right this minute and you don't change anything, there'll be no changes. Okay, so this is where I'm going to talk about big goals versus smaller goals. This is how we actually shift. Oh man, okay, I'll join the Discord. Yeah, we'd love to have you in there. You can, actually, let me just turn it on right now, because I have the thing, I think, open. If you go up to my bio and you click, there's the Discord link is up there. It'll say join the Discord. Okay. And I put tons of resources and stuff in there. So if you don't have goals, you feel very lost and confused in life. And it's like, what are we doing here? What is life? Because we love to grow and get into higher states of consciousness, right? You have to have small goals and you have to have big goals. So I talk to clients all the time and they're like, I have these big giant goals, like big goals. Like I want to be a millionaire. I want to run a business. I want to do all these things. Okay, so everybody now think of something like really big that you want. And I love that. But if you don't have smaller goals in between, you will not get there. That is the difference between a dream and a reality. People who dream about something but don't take action steps, that's just a dream. If you have it in your mind that that is my reality and that is true for me and I will make that happen, there is nothing that will stop me from that. It will happen. Dreams and reality, two different things. Okay, so let's say you want to make $1 million. Okay, that's the big goal. You're not even making $20,000 right now, which is fine. That's fine. There's no judgment or anything, but we're not even hitting that goal yet. So do we see how like that is way too high of a frequency jump? Our consciousness level is not, and our subconscious are not at the level of that wavelength, because we haven't even hit like 20,000 yet. Or if you want to run a big business, but we haven't even like started the business yet, too big of a frequency jump. It's overwhelming us. There are too many steps. We are not going to get there because it's just like, I don't know how to do that. That is why it is so important to have micro goals, smaller goals, make it more attainable. So who do we need to become to make $20,000 a month, or $10,000 a month, or $50,000 a month? Who is that person? Because that person is on the way to that other person. It's like multiple layers of higher selves. There's not just one, multiple. You can't resonate on the frequency of that higher self if you're not even meeting the ones in between. It's much more obtainable when you break it down. Now, when you also need the really big goals, because if you are trying to work on these smaller ones but you don't have bigger ones, you don't know if you are in your most aligned life. It's like, why are we even doing these smaller ones? Where is this going? Where are we headed? What's the point? You have to have both. The smaller ones give you the fuel to go all the way through, okay? It's like, yes, success. I did it. I'm accomplished. I got all these micro steps done, right? And then you make it to the big one. But if you don't have the smaller ones, you're not going to sustain. But if you don't have the bigger ones, then you get lost. Because you're like, whoa, what am I even doing this for, right? So take all your big goals and take 5 of them, right? Like 5 things that you really want in life. And then break them down as far as you possibly can. And you can just keep doing that. You can break things down to 1-step processes. That is how I have radically changed my life, is to micro step my way there. What can I do for 10 minutes today? Then it picks up momentum. Like, I wasn't always doing what I'm doing right now. When I was younger, I was living with anxiety and depression and an eating disorder and body dysmorphia. I was in a narcissistic relationship. I had horrible people pleasing. I had friends that I wasn't really in alignment with. Like, I was just miserable and my life was super, super chaotic. Okay? And I was not positive Patty like I am now. Okay? I was Hot Mess Express. And no offense to younger Brittany, love her. Right? It just was life. It just was what it was. And now we know. Doing all of these steps has completely changed my life. I am a whole different person than I was years ago, like 15 years ago. But I've done that through bringing new energy into my life, not settling for being stuck and stagnant. Especially if you're neurodivergent. If you are not constantly growing and evolving and learning new things, it feels like a piece of your soul is dying. Like, I'll be real honest with you. It is soul crushing. So that's what I mean by maybe we don't have the wherewithal to pick up like a new skill or a new hobby right now, but you can just learn about new things. You never know how that is going to serve you. You just don't know. You don't know what your life is going to look like a year from now. You can be a completely different person a year from now and have a completely different life. You can shift the mess out of your life, okay, in a year, but you have to take action. When I'm talking to people and they say, I have all these goals that I want to achieve, and I say, okay, what does your life look a year from now? And they say, I don't know. That's an issue. Because if you don't have a compass, then you're lost. You have to have very clear, this is who I am working on being, and this is who I will become. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I have changed my life by having very clear, this is who I am constantly working on being. And I shift myself there through micro steps and doing it a little bit at a time and not letting it overwhelm me and then saying, oh, well, whatever. Because if you put off till tomorrow, tomorrow never comes. you will just push it and push it and push it and push it and keep going downhill. Okay? Just do 10 minutes. It's literally so easy. Like, when I was building my website, I know I use that example a lot, but it was very hard because I don't have a marketing degree, and I was crying my eyes out about it, like literally crying, and I was so anxious. And my higher self was like, please stop doing that. This is like anything else in our life. 10 minutes. And I did that. I just every day worked on a little bit, and then all of a sudden I had it done, and it really wasn't as bad as I was making it out to be. And I did it. Right? But I've done that with everything in my life. Like all that chaotic stuff that I was living through and all the trauma that I had been through that I needed to heal, and just everything that I needed to shift in my life, I just did it in little bitty chunks every single day. And I still do that. There's still some goals that I have that are like really, really big goals, but I don't let them overwhelm me because I have micro goals in between. And when I hit those, I celebrate the mess out of myself. And I say, look at you getting this stuff done. You are going to obtain that reality. It's not a dream. Because we're constantly working on those things. I also don't look at my past to predict my future, because I don't know what's going to happen. When you leave the window of opportunity open for the universe to surprise you, and you start to learn that time is not linear, what you think will take you 15 or 20 years, absolutely not. You can radically shift your life when you start getting into like harnessing more of your power like this and taking control of your reality in your life. Things happen very, very quickly. If people met me like 5 or 6 years ago, you'd be like, who is that? Okay, compared to where I'm at right now. And again, no judgment to younger me. We have just shifted very quickly, very fast, because I learned how to quantum shift and timeline shift through doing these things. Big goals versus smaller goals. It has kept me perpetually moving forward because I can still stay present, but forward thinking and forward movement, right? And then subconscious grooves, again, like bringing new energy in, constantly keeping it fresh, not letting myself get stuck and stagnant, and realizing that those are not dreams. They are not. Those are your reality. There is something in your soul when you think about these things. They're not unattainable. They are. There's something in your soul that's saying, I can get myself there. But that smaller part of you, that human egoic brain, can be your worst enemy sometimes, because it's like, no, you can't. You're way too far away from that. Shift your way there, micro steps. When I say this, you can change, oh, thank you for the flowers. When I say that you can change your life in 10 minutes, I literally mean that. It is very true, because when you make these micro shifts like this, it starts radiating out into all the different areas of your life. And then all of a sudden you have different people, you have different experiences, you have different outcomes, you have all these differences because you're changing your filters of how you see the world. You're like, oh wait, I am successful. I do love myself. I am capable. I do have all these abilities. I do have gifts. Then you start having more positivity come into your life. Everything can change. Okay? But if you try and look at your life as a whole and you say, it's too big, I can't do it, I don't know what to do, then you're defeating yourself before you even get started. And that's a true reality too. Your reality can be whatever you want it to be. You can be a victim to life, or you can thrive in life. Both of those are accurate and true, and I've lived both of them. I have been the victim, and things happen to me. I'm not saying that we don't get dealt a difficult hand, because a lot of people do, and I get it. But you can either let that consume and swallow you, or you can do something about it and heal and make forward movements towards progress. Both of them, you can live life in two very different paradigms. It's okay. Oh, hey, Britt. Hey. Thank you all for the gifts. I appreciate it. Okay. So this is going to be a smaller chat, or not smaller chat, but a shorter chat today. If you feel like you're really resonating with the things that I was saying, and you're like, I need to get my butt in gear, because I've been that way too, where I've let things get way too out of hand and way too chaotic and just off track, and you're like, I need to get my shit together. Like, I'll just be very blunt, honest with you. If that sounds like you and you want some help moving forward and making these steps and putting a map together of how to move forward and what you need to do very specifically and how to do it, right? And break it down, because sometimes you need somebody to help you see and help you create that map. You can go to my profile and check out my Lightworker expansion program. We not only do that, but we also go way deep into inner child healing. We reset your whole entire energy field. We create you into a new person, because a lot of times we're so scared to make these changes because we've experienced trauma, and we are a people pleaser, and we are not standing strong in our creator abilities because we've been playing it small for so long. And I was there too, where I was just like, like afraid to show my light and my magic and like really harness that. Right? But you got to be the creator of your reality and not the victim of your reality, right? Or if you want a higher self guide to help you shift and figure out who it is that you're trying to be, I do have a free guide that you can download. It's a printable guide. It's up in my bio, or if you're looking on YouTube, it's down here in the description, and it has a whole bunch of self-discovery tools and questions to help you figure out who you are going to be a year from now. That's a great place to start. If that's too far of a reach for you, go 3 months, 6 months. Right? And you don't have to overhaul and change your whole entire life in a year. Where forward movement is forward movement. If you can do the dishes for 10 minutes where you didn't do it yesterday at all, great. If you took a shower today and you didn't take one yesterday, great. Forward movement is forward movement. But if you want to jump into a whole new reality very quickly in the next 12 weeks, you can check out my Lightworker expansion program, and that is in the description down here below or in my profile. All right, I need a map. Sometimes we need that. Sometimes, and you can do it. I don't want anybody to think that you can't do this on your own. Just sometimes it's easier with like an outsider perspective and a guide. But if you sit down with yourself and ask yourself, what do I really want? Because when I'm asking people sometimes, like, what are we doing with your life? What are we doing? They're like, I don't know. If you don't know, you don't have a compass to where you're headed. We're just out kind of like in la la land, like to try to be like in survival. It kicks you into survival mode, which is not prosperous and abundant. Now we're in the energy of, I'm just trying to make it till tomorrow. And I've been there. And sometimes it's difficult to get out of that, and I get it. But if you just stay in survival mode of, I don't know, I'm just trying to get till tomorrow, that's where you will forever stay. You have to have longer term goals. Something bigger outside of yourself that pushes you to become this new version. Otherwise, we just stay where we're at. And again, on the flip side of that, it doesn't have to be done overnight. You just do it a little bit at a time. And if you want to see it broken down, kind of how I'm talking about how to break it down microly like that, print out that guide. I give very clear steps of this is how you can shift. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions before I finish up here? And I challenge you to do something new today. Something that is out of your regular schmegular routine, and see how much better it makes you feel. Like for me, it was to watch like 5 or 6 videos on ants. That doesn't seem like it's gonna help me in life. It's not about that. It's about, ooh, something new, something fresh. Get my brain thinking. Because honestly, that ant video helped me understand my clients better. Because ant colonies, the way that they work, like the collective way that they work, it was really like a micro version of how we work as a collective. It was very fascinating. And if you're neurodivergent, we make associations like that. Like, oh, this is like that, and this and that, and that, and all